Good evening. Welcome to Sports Junkies. Hey, Mark, did the Giants win on Sunday?
Nope.
Did the Jets win on Sunday?
Nope.
Are the Yankees in the ALCS?
Nope.
Are you hosting tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I'm Rick Rosen.
And I'm Mark Spivak. Sports Junkie starts right now.
Good evening. Welcome again to Sports Junkies. I'm Rick Rosen. This time joined by Mark Spivak. Mark, welcome to the big desk.
Thanks, Rick.
How's it feel? Look at all this crafty furniture we got.
Feels like power.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you ready to do it?
I'm ready.
How you feel about those Giants?
Not too good. Not feeling too good about the Giants.
The Giants, coming off back-to-back huge road wins, have a home game against lowly Seattle. What could go wrong? First quarter, opening drive. Tavares Jackson finds Ben Abamanu. But the Giants are going to go down easy. Eli Manning is going to take his team down the field, find new tight end Jake Ballard. 15-yard touchdown. Giants tie it up at 7. Seahawks come right back. Marshawn Lynch in his beast mode. 1-yard touchdown run. Seahawks go right back up. But the Giants defense would keep them in this game, although Eli Manning would throw 3 picks. Aaron Ross with the interception here, and Eli Manning would take advantage. He's going to find his new favorite target, Akeem Nicks, for this 30-yard touchdown. Eli, 24 of 39, 420 yards, 3 touchdowns, but also 3 picks. This time he's going to go to his new boy, Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz with the catch. One-handed down the sidelines. Cruz, 8 catches, 161 yards, that nifty dance, and a touchdown. But it was not all good for Cruz. Giants trying to come back late. Cruz off the hands and into the hands of Brandon Browner, who's going to run. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. This is actually happening. Browner goes 94 yards for the touchdown, seals the game for Seattle. The Giants get absolutely robbed of a victory in their home stadium, 36-25. Mark, what just happened?
Pandemonium just happened. Seahawks went in there as the worst team in the NFL. Giants were expected to win, but thing to look for, Victor Cruz, catch of the season maybe?
Unbelievable highlight reel. We're going to go and talk more about it with Eric and Rob. Guys, what do you got?
Hey, thank you, Rick. I'm joined with Rob here. The Giants are facing what looks like an easy win. They already have it in the bag, and they fall 36-25 to the lowly Seahawks. Rob, what happened?
Very, very sloppy game for Big Blue. The Giants, they turned the ball over 5 times. 2 lost fumbles and 3 interceptions from Eli Manning, one of which, as we saw in the highlights, was returned 94 yards for a touchdown. The Giants had 7 penalties for 52 yards. They were 1 of 12 on 3rd down. They lost Pro Bowl guard Chris Snee to a concussion, and they let up a safety in the 3rd quarter.
Now, that doesn't sound like the stats of a team that wins the game, but I don't think we're giving the Seahawks enough credit. I mean, you have Charlie Whitehurst coming into the game. He goes 11 for 19 with a touchdown. Marshawn Lynch, 12 carries, 98 yards, a touchdown. Doug Baldwin, who is Doug Baldwin? He gets 8 receptions, 136 yards, and a touchdown. And like you said, the 94-yard pick 6. So, I mean, I'm looking at it as a Seahawks victory. I don't think that the Giants dropped it, to say. I think the Seahawks played a solid game.
Well, Eric, I would agree. The Seahawks definitely did their part. But the problem here is we're starting to see a trend with the Giants. When something happens one time, it's an outlier. When something happens twice, it's a coincidence. But when it starts to happen 3, 4, 5 times, it becomes a trend. The fact is the Giants have failed to stop the run. They allowed 145 yards on 29 carries. And they allowed Marshawn Lynch to go beast mode. The fact is the Giants can't run the ball. They had no Brandon Jacobs, who sat the game out with a left MCL sprain. They ran the ball 25 times, which is a pretty consistent number. However, they were only able to get 2.8 yards per carry and 69 yards.
That is not a recipe for success in all of the Giants games this year. They've rushed for 419 yards, opponents 611. Giants average 3.2 yards per carry, opponents 4.2. You just can't consistently win ball games with that kind of number. Now, next week you have Buffalo coming off a huge win in Philadelphia. Buffalo out of nowhere, 4-1 team. They are coming to MetLife Stadium like the Seahawks did. What happens?
It's a toss-up right now. The Giants, they have to try to snap out of this funk and take care of the ball. Buffalo is playing very, very well. I'm going to have to go with the Giants here. I mean, when you look on the bright side for the Giants, Eli Manning did throw for a career-high 420 yards with 3 touchdowns. Victor Cruz is making big plays all over the field. Like Rick said earlier, he had 8 catches for 161 yards and that touchdown we saw in the highlights. Not to mention, the Giants are getting to the quarterback. They sacked Tavares Jackson and Charlie Whitehurst a combined 6 times. The charge led by former first-round pick from South Florida, Jason Pierre-Paul, with 2.5 sacks.
Now, all that sounds pretty, but I think the Bills are going to blow the Giants out of the water.
Interesting.
They're averaging 5 yards per carry for the season, absolutely lighting it up. Fred Jackson is having a possible MVP consideration year. Fitzpatrick as well. He's having a huge year, 10 touchdowns already to the 4 picks. I don't think that the Giants stand a popsicle's chance in the underworld. I think that the Bills will blow them out of the water. Now, we talk about the problems that the Giants have had. They can't run the ball, and they can't block the run. What do you think is going to happen to them as the season goes on if this keeps up?
Well, the fact of the matter is the easiest part of the Giants' schedule is already done with. They have a lot of tough opponents later in the season, and basically what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to hope their offensive line can get healthy, as well as Brandon Jacobs. They're going to have to continue to pound the ball, and they're going to have to do something to stop the run, whether it's a trade, which the trade deadline's coming up soon, or free agent acquisitions. They're going to have to do something in order to fix the errors that they've made early in the season.
The way things stand right now, I mean, you have the Redskins who are surprising everybody. The Eagles are faltering. I don't think that the Giants are a playoff team. Watching their past 5 games, it just seems like a team like them, they remind me of the Jets in a way with their inability to run the football. They can't run and they can't block the run. And I think that's going to come back to haunt them, especially as they start getting into the harder part of their season. Thank you so much, Rob. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to toss it over to Danielle.
Thank you, gentlemen. Al Davis, one of the most influential and respected people in all of sports, passed away on Saturday. The beloved Oakland Raiders owner joined the Raiders organization in 1963 as head coach and general manager, where he proceeded to win 3 Super Bowls in 2 different cities, Oakland and Los Angeles. Davis was named commissioner of the AFL in 1966. And held the position until the merger in 1970, which was known to be a movement that Davis himself played a pivotal role in. On Sunday, every home team, including the Raiders' opponents, the Texans, paid tribute to the late great owner. The Raiders won the game 25-20 in what was clearly an emotional day for the organization. Commissioner Roger Goodell released a statement saying, quote, Al Davis's passion for football and his influence on the game were extraordinary. He is a true legend of the game whose impact and legacy will forever be part of the NFL, end quote. Al Davis was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1992, along with his coined motto, just win, baby. He was 82. Over to Rick and Mark.
Thank you, Danielle. Al Davis, definitely a legend. His loss will be felt around the NFL.
We're going to take a quick break on Sports Junkies. When we come back, we're talking Jets, who have never lost 3 straight under the Rex Ryan regime. Never say never. You're watching Sports Junkies.
Just win, baby.
America is turning over a new leaf. The Smart Way leaf. Smart Way from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is changing the way America drives. Look for the Smart Way leaf to help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks. Smart Way certified cars and trucks are more fuel efficient, produce fewer greenhouse gases, and can save you money. And when you're helping the environment, it's a nice reflection on you. Smart Way, because it's time America turned over a new leaf. Follow the leaf. Go to www.epa.gov/smartway.
Recently, I got a letter from a woman who told me she took all of her money out of the bank and put it into a shoebox. What was she thinking? You know what I told her? Put it back into the bank now. Listen, if your bank is insured by the FDIC and you stay within the coverage limits, your money is 100% safe. A lot safer than a shoebox.
How true. Visit myfdicinsurance.gov today, because the more you know, the safer your money.
Welcome back to Sports Junkies. I'm Danielle Meade. University of South Carolina head coach Steve Spurrier said senior quarterback Steven Garcia was given several chances to be a student athlete at South Carolina, and it was sad that he could not live up to that commitment. Sources say the fifth-year senior has been dismissed from the 15th ranked Gamecocks as a result of him testing positive for marijuana and alcohol. Athletic director Eric Heyman said that Garcia failed to meet the guidelines put in place after his fifth suspension this past spring, which included a ban on alcohol. After a decade of mediocrity, Mike Stoops took the Arizona Wildcats football program to 3 straight bowl games and turned them into a successful program. Now, halfway through his 8th season, Arizona announced that Coach Stoops has been fired after a lackluster start to the season. The 49-year-old had a 41-50 record at Arizona, including 27 and 38 in conference games. Defensive coordinator Tim Kish will serve as the interim head coach for the rest of the season while the school searches for a new coach.
Thank you, Danielle. I'm Mark Spivak, joined with Ryan Burns. Ryan, big slate of football games over the weekend, but give me your thoughts on the Jets game real quick.
Well, obviously a big disappointment, especially against a rival like the New England Patriots.
A big disappointment indeed. Let's go to the highlights to see how this game actually panned out. 2-2 Jets travel into Foxborough. Tom Brady looking smug. We're going to start off in the first quarter. Brady gives to Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, and he's going to rumble through the line. 7-0 Pats up early. Tom Brady is going to drop back, and Rapati Patoe Tua is going to find him for the sack, his first career sack. Bringing in the second quarter, Sean Green with the powerful touchdown. 10-7 Jets. The Jets are pumped. Third quarter, Brady's going to drop back, and he's going to be looking. He has a lot of time with the Jets rush. He's going to roll out wide, and he's going to find Deion Branch for the catch on the 1, but he's going to fumble it, and it is Jets ball. Jets recovering a big situation, but Bill Belichick's going to throw the red flag. Play is going to be overturned. Patriots ball. Next play, Brady's going to find a wide open Deion Branch for the touchdown. Next, in the third quarter, Sanchez is going to roll out, and he's going to find Jeremy Curley, the rookie from TCU, for the touchdown grab. 17-14 Jets. In the fourth quarter, 30-21. Jets trying to make a comeback. Sanchez is going to get sacked. Patriots win 30-21. Jets are very disappointed about this. Now, Ryan, what are your thoughts about the Jets game? How did the Jets perform in this game?
Well, obviously they didn't perform up to par. I mean, if you look at the offensive numbers, they weren't that bad. Sanchez had a passer rating over 105. Sean Green still had over 80 yards, the best of the season so far. He had a touchdown. But if you look at the way that they played throughout the rest of the game, I believe at one point they had 8 straight 3-and-outs. It's not what you want, especially against the Patriots. That puts your defense on the field way too quickly. Against the Patriots offense, it's going to burn you out.
Patriots offense has been good this year. Now, normally, in the past 2 years under the Rex Ryan regime, the Jets defense wouldn't have a problem being out there so much. But why this year has the Jets defense been so lackluster?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's a difference of coaching. You know, I'm not sure if the players are still up to par with Rex Ryan. I know it's been 3 years and you might be able to get used to him, but there's still a lot of things going back and forth between players and coaches right now.
Yeah, definitely between players and coaches. As many have heard, the mutiny on the offensive front with the Jets' top 3 wide receivers, Plaxico, Santonio, and Derek Mason, allegedly going into Rex Ryan's offense and throwing offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer under the bus.
Yeah,
what are your feelings about this?
Yeah, it looks like his job may or may not be on the line, especially when the players go to the head coach to complain about an offensive coordinator. It's never a good sign. I mean, obviously, these are things that you might want to talk to Brian Schottenheimer about if you have differences of opinion on the offense. But if they go straight to Rex Ryan, who's a defensive-minded guy who really trusts Brian Schottenheimer, especially the way that Sanchez has been doing so much better over the last couple of seasons, it's just odd to see.
Right, absolutely. Now, Schottenheimer, as we know, wasn't Rex Ryan's guy. Schottenheimer was here under the Eric Mangini regime, and Rex Ryan decided to keep him around. Now, with an experienced coach such as Bill Callahan, who's been a head coach on the college and NFL level, lurking underneath him as the assistant head coach, offensive line coach, do you think that there's a possibility that he could take over offensive coordinator, or do you think they might even look outside of the system to potentially replace Schottenheimer?
Well, I said that Schottenheimer's job was on the line. I don't think they're going to get rid of him midseason. I mean, obviously, Rex came out and said they need to get back to the running game. You know, obviously Sanchez isn't going to be throwing the ball as much anymore, but I don't think that just to get rid of Brian Schottenheimer just to try and save the season. I know they're 2-3. They lost 3 straight, but don't panic just yet, because this is still an offensive team, or a team's offense that can still pick it up, they can do a good job, and they could get back to a reasonable record.
Now, a lot of people are getting on them for being 2-3 this season with the 3 straight losses. Now, in the three games that they've lost, the combined teams' records are 10-4. Those are 3 potential playoff teams, that the Jets have lost to. Do you really think that the Jets should be waving a white flag at this point in the season, or do you think that they still are a playoff team?
Well, in honesty, it all depends on the Bills. I mean, are the Bills going to keep up their hot streak? I mean, they're 4-1 right now. They're obviously tied in the division with the New England Patriots. So it's going to depend on what they do. I mean, obviously the Jets sitting at 2-3 are in 3rd place. You don't know if they'll be able to pick it up the rest of the season, but you would hope that they would. And the Jets really need the Bills to struggle.
Definitely. The Bills have been an incredible team thus far. An absolute Cinderella story, coming out of left field and being 4-1 on the season thus far. Now, the Jets have Monday Night Football against Miami next week. Chargers the week after, a bye week. How do you see this season progressing?
Well, I think the Jets will be fine. As I said, I don't think Schottenheimer's going to lose his job. I think the Jets' offense is going to pick it up. I think Mark Sanchez will be fine. He's got his favorite target, Dustin Keller. He still has Plaxico Burress, Antonio Holmes. I think they'll be okay. Obviously, the rush defense needs to improve. They're terrible right now as opposed to other Rex Ryan defenses, but I think they'll be okay. Their pass defense is still 5th in the league.
Thank you, Ryan. Now, quickly, Jets, playoff team, yes or no, right now?
Yes.
Yes, definitely?
Yeah.
I hope so, too. Let's throw it over to Rick.
Thank you, Mark and Ryan, for your weekly Jets report. We're going to take another break on Sports Junkies. When we come back, we're down to just 4 teams in Major League Baseball. I'm going to sit with Eric Dolan, and we're going to see if the Rangers bats can get them to the World Series and who's going to win the intense rivalry between the Brewers and Cardinals. Don't go anywhere. This is Sports Junkies.
After a car accident, Linda Davis needed CPR. Bill Hamilton needed temporary shelter when a fire destroyed his home. During an operation, Haley Reynolds needed a blood transfusion.
Excuse me, may I go into that room, please?
Next year, revenue growth again will be a focus. Top priority.
Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for giving me shelter.
Thank you for saving my life.
Support the Red Cross and change a life, starting with your own.
Welcome back to Sports Junkies. I'm Rick Rosen, joined alongside Eric, here to talk the end of the baseball season. We're down to just 4 teams, Mr. Dolan. Let's start now in the NL, the Brewers and the Cardinals. These are 2 teams that don't like each other very much. The Brewers are a loudmouth bunch, high energy. The Cardinals, very working class, very professional. What do you like in this series?
Well, I thought I liked the Brewers, and then Game 2 happened.
Game 2
12
was
to
ridiculous.
3. Now, the Brewers are the best team at home this year. Miller Park is heaven for them. They had 10 games better than any other team at home. Now they have to go on the road, series tied 1-1, face Carpenter, then face Loesch. I don't see them doing that.
But as we've seen in the NL, the way the Phillies made their exit, hot bats can beat anything right now. And if the Brewers have one thing, they got hot bats. Ryan Braun's a monster. Prince Fielder's a monster. And the supporting cast has enough men to get on base. I think the Brewers could still be a factor in the series, regardless of who the Cardinals send out.
Oh, yeah. Yuneski, Betancourt, Ryan Braun, and Prince Fielder all batting .500 through the first 2 games. 4 home runs combined. They are lighting it up, and those bats are going to be tough to beat.
And while the Brewers have some solid pitching in Giovanni Gallardo and a decent bullpen with K-Rod there, I think that the Cardinals, with Pujols, can find enough offense to compete still.
Hopefully, but they're going to end up back in Milwaukee if Milwaukee can find a way to just win one of the 3 games in St. Louis. And if that happens, I don't think anybody is leaving Milwaukee alive.
If Pujols keeps going 4 for 5, I mean, anything could happen with the Cardinals, though. They live and die on that with that man. This may be his last year with the team, and he's leaving everything out on that field. Just a monster in Game 2.
And you have Carpenter willing to pitch Game 7. He'll pitch Game 4, and he will pitch Game 7. And we've seen what he's done in the Game 5 elimination scenario, shutting out the Phils. So.
And the trash talk the Brewers have been talking about Carpenter going into the CS. You know he's eager to do damage against the Brewers squad with all that trash talk.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Who do you like in this series?
I'm going to have to go with the Brewers. As much as I like St. Louis, as impressed as I was after the Phillies series, I think that the Brewers bats are going to find a way. They have the magic this year. I mean, the way that they won Game 5, the way that they've been playing, I think they have the magic and the hitting, and I think that they're going to find a way to beat the Cardinals.
What I love about the baseball playoffs is that in the 162-game baseball regular season, you find out who the good teams really are. And then in the playoffs, anything goes.
Exactly.
Anything can happen in this playoffs. You get 7 games, you get 5 swings of the bat every game, and really anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And the AL just goes to show it. For the record, I think the Brewers are going to take this. The heat of the bats is just too much, no matter who the Cardinals send out on the mound. We're going to go to the AL now. The Tigers lost another game in Detroit last night, or is that in Texas?
In
Game
Texas.
2. And this series could be over before it even got started.
Oh, I mean, I don't see the Tigers winning a game. The Rangers have every single thing going for them. Now, we've all been watching baseball. The 2 biggest things you need a strong bullpen and you need the bats. The Rangers have thrown 13-plus innings of 0-hit bullpen ball. They haven't given up a run. They just haven't. And their hitting is hotter than ever. Beltre's hitting .444, and Nelson Cruz, he has the huge game-winning grand slam in Game 2. He is batting an astounding .571 with 3 home runs throughout 2 games.
Yeah, if Nelson Cruz keeps swinging like this, he's going to swing his way right into the record books of postseason history. Already the first walk-off grand slam in postseason history, and he's sure to do more. You ask his teammates, and they say they just see it. They've seen him coming along for a while. He has that stroke. He has that look in his eye. And you knew after he got hit on the wrist in the 9th inning of Game 2 last night that his next at-bat, he was just going to do damage. Took that inside slider, didn't even flinch, just casually trotted to first. He knows he's in the head of those Tiger pitchers. And another thing about the Rangers, arguably the weakest of the starting pitching of the 4 teams remaining in the playoffs. And their bullpen just comes in when they need it to be. They don't strand the bases. They don't leave them empty. They don't shut down the other team. But they don't let the runs in. And when it counts, when they really need outs, they get outs.
That's exactly what you said. When it counts, they have found a way with their bullpen. They don't have the starting pitching, but their bullpen is coming through, and the bats will carry them. Now, exactly what is going well for the Rangers is going horribly wrong for the Tigers.
Yes.
Their bats. 2 of their best bats, Magglio Ordonez, Delman Young. Delman Young hit 3 home runs. He was batting .316 throughout the postseason. Ordonez .455. They're out.
Yeah.
Ordonez refractured his ankle. Delman Young, he had a left oblique problem during the Yankee series. He hasn't seen the light of day. He was scheduled to play, and he hasn't. I mean, now you're asking the Tigers, with Verlander losing a game, which they did not expect, Verlander on full rest coming up with a loss, followed by 2 huge bats out of their lineup, I don't see them winning a game.
Yeah, the whole lineup is kind of structured around Miguel Cabrera now. If he can find some offense to keep them in this game. But I think you're right. I think Verlander needs to come in a second start and throw absolute fire. If he's going to be the unanimous Cy Young choice for the AL, and he needs to play like it, or else the Tigers are getting swept.
Exactly. The reason Cabrera has been so good is because of bats like Ordonez and Young. You can't pitch around their best player. Now they're going to have to pitch to him. There is no choice.
Oh, you have to pitch to him. In this series, I think the Rangers can make the sweep. I like them in 4 games.
Definitely. I say the Rangers sweep as well.
All right, get your brooms out. We're talking Rangers, Brewers in the World Series, but that's just these 2 guys. Who knows what could actually happen. Here's Danielle. Danielle?
Thank you, Rick and Eric. The NBA Commissioner David Stern announced that the league has canceled the first 2 weeks of the upcoming NBA season after 13 hours of failed negotiations over a 2-day period. The NBA has not had a lockout this long since 1998, a year in which only 50 games were played due to a 204-day labor dispute. Stern said that the NBA and Players Union are trying to avoid the cancellation of the entire season. When asked if the league was prepared to move forward with a partial season, Stern said, quote, "Yes, I think that's right. And with every day that goes by, we need to look at further reductions in what's left in the season," end quote. The cancellation of the first 2 weeks totaling up to 100 games, including 2 marquee matchups. They feature Chicago at Dallas on November 1st and Miami at New York on November 2nd. Both sides will continue negotiating in hopes of finding a compromise on a new collective bargaining agreement. Over to Mark at the big desk.
Thank you, Danielle. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the NBA and what happens with the next NBA video game. Maybe there's going to be a lockout mode in the next game. No playing at all. But don't go anywhere, because the next segment is your favorite, The Eliminator. Let's see who our experts pick in the next week on the NFL. Don't go anywhere. Sports Junkies is going to be right back.
At PlayGolfAmerica.com, you can find a program near you that will let you get out there and get the most out of golf, no matter what kind of player you are.
Play Golf America.
Every pet comes with a unique set of hopes and dreams. And one wish shared by every new pet owner: a happy, healthy life together. Make that wish a reality with early and regular visits to your veterinarian. Vaccinations help protect your puppy or kitten from dangerous diseases. And regular exams help diagnose, treat, and prevent health problems before they become serious. Your veterinarian can also answer questions and offer helpful advice on training your new pet. See that your new pet grows up healthy and happy. Call your veterinarian today. This message is brought to you by the American Veterinary Medical Association and your local veterinarians.
Once again, welcome back to Sports Junkies. Mark, it's been a great show.
Fantastic show, Rick.
But it wouldn't be complete without what I think is our new best segment.
What is it?
It's The Eliminator.
The Eliminator!
Come on, analysts, who you got?
Let's go, Ricky. This week, I got the Raiders over the Cleveland Browns. Just win, baby.
Jets over the Finns on Monday night. Only time all year Sanchez is the better quarterback.
I've got the Giants over the Bills. The Fitzmagic runs out.
Cincinnati over Indianapolis. Remember when the Colts were good? I don't.
Chicago over Minnesota. Da Bears.
And as much as I love the Steve Spagnuolo regime, I got to take Green Bay over St. Louis. It's Aaron Rodgers. Let's go. It's been a great show. Mark, if people want to get in touch with us, call us out on how bad our picks are. Where do they find us?
You can find us on the interweb via the email, that's sportsjunkies6@gmail.com, or on Facebook, WPTV6 Sports Junkies.
And we're also on the Twitter. Follow us at Sports Junkies. Tweet us all your fantasy questions, matchup opinions, anything that you think you can talk sports better than us, give it a shot. We'll send you back just how we feel.
We will tweet them back.
We'll tweet you back. For Rob Wentham, Eric Dolan, Danielle Meade, Ryan Burns, and Mark Spivak, I'm Rick Rosen. That's it for Sports Junkies. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.